Hello, this is Conquestadore, a game where two people are still playing Warhammer 40k Conquest. My name is Tristan.
And my name is Warren.
And I was playing Tyranids today.
And I was playing Tau.
The thing about the Tyranids is, as you can see there, they have sort of two warlords. Not really. They have a warlord and a synapse unit. So I'm playing the Swarmlord with a Gravid Turvagon.
As your synapses creature.
As my synapse unit.
Yeah. And then I'm playing Commander Starblaze, which is quite cool. It has a different battle ability, which allows me to use or align with Imperial Guard. So typically on the alignment wheel, the Tau would align with, who is it? I think it's Eldar and Space Marines or something like that.
I think so.
But now with his ability, allows me to align with Imperial Guard, which is very cool.
So at the start, we draw cards and resources as per your warlord. My Swarmlord gives me 6/6.
And mine gives me 7/7.
Already at an advantage. However, I won the dice roll, so I am with initiative. We're just checking out the planets there. Planet 1 is Ferrin.
Planet 2 is Osis 4.
Then we get to Ivarn.
And then it's Iloeth.
And Iridial. Interesting thing to point out about the Tyranids, if you've never played the Nids before, they're part of the last big expansion box for Warhammer 40k Conquest, which, as we all know, stopped being supported by Final Fantasy, good grief, Fantasy Flight Games in 2016. There is, however, a group of people in a small company that have continued independently. Apoka, I think?
Yeah, that's it.
We'll put some links in the description box below. But now to the game with initiative. First card I play is Swarmguard. So they have a hive mind ability. Each Termagant token you control at this planet gets +2 HP.
Nice. And then I play Avoid Pirate.
At a very close planet.
Yeah, I think I was going for the resources. In my hand, I had lots of very expensive units. So I was trying to get the +2 resources there.
So the thing about my warlord and its ability, obviously, when the Swarmlord comes in, a Termagant token comes onto either planet adjacent, and then the Turvagon is the Synapse unit, also brings in Termagants.
So much of Gaunts.
Yes. The Virulent Sporsacks come out at planet 3 for me. They get to sacrifice themselves and deal 1 damage to each enemy unit at this planet and then infest the planet.
Yeah.
Now, that's only a combat action, so I need to be in combat with something. And I think you pretty much stay away.
Well, yeah, I mean, with that ability, I didn't want all my guys starting the battle with 1 damage. It's quite insane. So I play a Stingwind Swarm. They have ranged.
We are Kroot.
Yeah. Well, actually, they're Vespids. They're not part of the Kroot army.
I didn't know that.
They're actually a different faction.
Oh, but they align with Tau.
Yes.
Or as the Kroot do.
Yes, exactly.
Ah. Look at the Tau being friendly. All for the greater good.
Like they even have Imperial Guard in their army. I'm serious.
Oh, okay.
No, like in the lore.
Oh, I see. Yes. I put down some support cards. Digestion Pool. Very nice little card there, I suppose. It gets to interrupt. So when I deploy a Tyranid unit at an infested planet, I can exhaust it and reduce the cost by 2. Not just 1. There is still that card. I think the Nids do still have that standard universal faction card that lets you...
But this is for specific to infested planets.
Yeah. That's why it's not just reduced by 1, cost reduced by 2, but it has to be infested. So that's kind of the thing I'm going for with the Hive Mind and with the Nids, is trying to infest as many planets as I can to use all the abilities.
And I like the game mechanics there because it really comes back to the whole idea of what the Nids are. It's like the swarm. And you're just putting mass Termagants down. I've just played a Marksman. They have ranged. It's a base 1 damage, 2 health, which is, always great because you can try to get those kills in beforehand.
Indeed. Now I'm glad there's something there because I'm like, okay, we could have combat there, which is great. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. The Tyranids have a very special dial. You'll see it's 2 dials together because I have essentially 2 warlords. It's not true. One is Synapse, one is Warlord, but I need to commit them both. So that's the nice thing I've always got to think about is where does the one go, then the other. And I forgot in this game at least, that your Warlord conveyed the ability mobile.
Yeah, so it has a reaction. After a Warlord commits to a planet, I get to move 1 Imperial Guard unit you control from an adjacent planet to this planet.
So we're starting off pretty well. I'm feeling quite confident. I can start generating guns and make Swarm a thing. So the Turvagon gets there, he gets to put a Termagant down. The Swarmlord goes next door, so he gets to also get a Termagant to planet 2 and then planet 4. So I'm feeling like, cool, we got some Nids on the field.
Yeah, it starts getting a little bit ridiculous, just the number of cards you play.
And yet, this Tau army and its alignment did really well. It cleaned them out.
Exactly.
We'll see in a bit. Right, so we did some command struggle there, did we?
Yes. You can see that the battle at Planet 1 is going to commence. Because I have a Warlord, I get the initiative, even though you have the initiative token. I have ranged, so the range goes first. That's 3 damage.
In my hand, I think you can see the Indescribable Horror, which is a 1 shield card. And I'm like, do I want to shield? Do I want to use this ability later?
How much health does that Swarm Guard have? 5.
5, yeah. So
Okay.
pretty beefy.
So I mean, you could have actually protected him. He would have survived another round. But to what effect? I mean, you would have done 1 damage to something.
I couldn't have killed anything.
No.
And ideally, there should have been another... I should have swarmed... The Swarmlord ideally should have gone to Planet 2, and the Tervagon maybe to Planet 3. And if I'd done it the other way around, there would be a Termagant at Planet 1, and that Swarm Guard gives them extra 2 HP.
Oh, wow.
So that maybe would have been a better plan, I suppose.
Yeah, you probably... Even with the shield, you would have been able to kill the swarm.
The Stingwing.
Stingwing swarm, yeah.
Swarm v Swarm. We're discussing some things now. So because a battle has to happen at Planet 3, because there's a Warlord there, we're now deciding the order of events. So obviously, as a battle commences, there's an action window, and we get to do combat actions.
Yeah.
Person with initiative goes first. Ooh, I'm reading a book. I think we're reading up some rules there.
There we go.
Gosh, I really probably should have edited that out. Now you can see what a real game is like.
No, it takes a lot longer than 40 minutes.
I mean, I cut out very little, but it is cutting things out. So I think our games have definitely shrunk down to about an hour.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be 90 minutes to 2 hours.
I think we're just working out the combat action versus ranged. Hand gestures there.
Right now, looking at it, what would you say? The combat action happens before ranged.
Yes. I mean, I don't even know why we're debating it.
Yeah.
I don't know what we are in debating.
Maybe we're just talking about lunch. Who knows?
It might be, I haven't exhausted the planet's ability, which is to route a non-warlord unit.
There we go.
I think I was trying to route that swarm, the spore mines.
Yeah.
So you couldn't trigger it.
That makes sense. And I think you were then weighing up what to do otherwise.
Yeah, so it's whether it's worth routing that guy or routing a Timagaunt.
I see, that makes the most sense. Yeah, so we weren't actually talking order of events. I wonder what I was looking up though.
Okay, so I ended up picking
A Gant.
Gaunt. Okay, interesting. I'm trying to think of what the logic there was. Because that your unit would have been routed, gone back to your HQ, then come to the next planet we commit at, and would have been exhausted. It couldn't use its combat. It can use a combat.
can, yeah.
Okay, so I think that's what we was debating.
Right.
Okay, so now you use the combat ability.
Sacrifice it to do 1 damage.
Yeah.
But your dude has 2 health.
Yes. So let's just see if I place the damage. I do.
Because we're thinking now at least you get to do a damage to me and then I get to kill it.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Then I get to trigger the battle ability of Yvarn by putting a unit in our hand into play at our HQ. Now, I always contemplate doing this because you know your opponent probably has something equally strong. But I really wanted to get a unit out. And I was weighing it up and eventually decided the Shrieking Harpy is coming down.
I think it was worth it. I mean, that's 6 resources right there. And I went ahead and played the Crisis Battle Guard, which you'll see now. And they only cost 5. So you were up on that.
Just a little. Except you do 3 attack and have 5 health. I do 2 attack and have 5 health, except it's a flying creature.
Well, exactly. So I essentially need to do 10 damage.
Which you could probably do. What I really like about the Shrieking Harpy is its combat reaction, which is after this unit is declared as an attack at an infested planet, exhaust each enemy non-elite army unit and token unit at this planet.
So that was the bane of my life for most of this game. I just kept thinking, how can I counteract this?
And we'll see your plan forthwith. So everyone's back at HQ. A new round begins, drawing some new cards, getting some resources, and the initiative token should eventually fly over to the left-hand side of the screen.
But then I have 1 red strategic planet.
Correct. So that was another thing, is the earliest we could win is the current planet 4. So we were looking at a slightly longer battle
Exactly.
than maybe our previous episode. If you watched Space Marines versus Dark Eldar, that was quite a quick one.
And then the new planet that got revealed was Taris. And its battle ability is if you have fewer resources than your opponent, you gain 3 resources or draw 3 cards.
That's really good. I don't think we used that.
No.
Sure, that would have been...
It hardly ever comes up.
Gosh, I probably should have thought about that. It really would have helped.
So now we're debating.
Internally, I imagine, because there's not much verbal debating when we are looking through cards in this way.
Well, you can't really tell your opponent, I'm going to do this.
I'm just thinking whether I should kill your unit this way.
There we go. So I'm going to play a heavy marker drone. This is a really nice card. So you attach it to any target army unit or enemy army unit, and any damage that's dealt to them is doubled.
And I think you've used this in the past.
I have.
In some of our games. In retaliation, I'm like, cool, well, I'll get a mine. We'll get some resources going.
Mm-hmm. Just thinking if you had played that mine and tried to go for this Terrace planet, it's just resources for days.
Then we would have get the swarm living. Now I wonder, I don't recall, because now I've got 1 infested planet, so my current support card, other than the mine, is really only useful at planet 2 presently.
Oh, yes. Interesting. But you don't want to give me another planet. I suppose it's just taking a resource from your opponent. It's not the end of the world.
Valid. And I can see why now. I suppose I was leaning towards, if someone watching this has watched our earlier videos, definitely the first 2 were quite quick. And I'm trying to leave out too many edits. Because then the excitement of seeing a Steel Legion Chimera is all the more exciting.
Exactly. Now, this is a nice card, especially in conjunction with the Tau. It has a reaction that after a non-vehicle unit you control at this planet is assigned damage, prevent 1 of that damage. It doesn't say this card has to be readied or anything like that. As long as it's at that planet, you get to negate 1 damage.
Every time damage comes through.
Yeah.
Super strong. How much does it cost?
It costs 3.
Oh my gosh.
But it has a base 2 and 4 health. So it's nice, it's tanky.
Really good.
Yeah.
Haha.
So obviously, yes, no pun intended. Look, how they do balance the vehicles is you can't attach anything unless it's specific for vehicle attachment.
True that. An armored shell comes down for the Nids on that Shrieking Harpy that already has a heavy marker drone, and this is really my response to it, to negate it.
Yes.
Because the reaction of an armored shell says that after an attached unit is assigned damage by an attack, prevent all but 2. So hoping that whatever you want to attack that is meant to do double because of the heavy marker drone can never be more than 2.
Exactly.
On the Shrieking Harpy. I don't know if we then discussed if 2 damage... No, we did figure it out. Like, if you did 6 damage, say, you half that because it's flying to 3.
Yes.
And then you can only do 2. So.
And then you double that to 6 because of the marker drone.
Yes, that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm saying,
and then limited to 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the last thing you do is limited to 2.
Yes.
Is what we're saying. The flying doesn't affect it after that.
Oh, I see. So we could have limited to 2 and then doubled it up.
Something like that. I don't know. I think we did it right.
I honestly think we did it right because essentially the marker drone just cancels your flying rule in this case.
Yeah.
I know there are certain attachments that you can give to units that negate flying.
All right. So then we commit.
Oh, both to planet 2.
Or at least my Synapse unit goes
right.
there. Where does the Swarmlord go?
And there's an interesting thing there. You place 2 Gaunt tokens, or Gaunt tokens, because it's an infested planet.
Correct.
And then a third one because your warlord's adjacent to it.
Trying to get the swarm going.
Yeah.
We build and rebuild. All right, so time for some command struggles. I think the Nids will win Planet 1.
Yeah, you have a warlord there.
And you'll win Planet 2 for the same reason. And then there's nothing anywhere else.
Yeah, indeed.
There is a token that has a command icon, isn't there? Or do all tokens not have command?
I'm trying to think what they are. This is the Chimeras, it's the Termagants, the IG.
The Snotlings from the Orcs.
Yes.
I don't think they have. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's the thing about tokens.
I like the Imperial Guards tokens, because the Guardsmen, because they have 2 health. 1 damage, 2 health.
And if you're playing them with an Imperial Guard army, inevitably they're always coming out. There's always many different ways to put more tokens out.
Well, yeah, true. And then because they're all soldiers, you buff them with 1 warlord. It gives them +1 attack if they're a soldier or warrior, something like that.
Clever. Those keywords we actually must watch more often. At least I personally think I must watch more often, because there's certain abilities that it must be a soldier, it must be a warrior, and I never look at that part. All right. I get to play Indescribable Horror, the thing I decided previously not to use as a shield, which allows me to route a target army unit with a printed cost equal to or lower than the number of NID units you control at that planet.
And I mean, you could have done that at either of the planets because you have more units. So you went ahead and routed my Steel Legion Chimera.
So that you wouldn't prevent 1 damage, and it wouldn't be a massive fight where you would then kill all of those units there, and then it'd be like a long slog to win that planet. Maybe I could have destroyed the tank because I think it did some damage and was really good later on, and maybe use that ability in Planet 2, say.
Yeah, agreed. So I was thinking now, looking at post-game, is I should have used my Warlord's ability and moved that Imperial Guard unit to the adjacent planet.
Yeah.
So it would have been with my Warlord.
Indeed.
It's a good thing I didn't because you then forgot about that ability. And at the same time, you just routed him. You used 2 resources. It didn't bother me. Okay, there. So you just now stole a resource from me?
Versus 4.
Yeah.
And then at least I've won a planet. So if you have been watching these videos in succession, the Dark Eldar did not do really well against the Space Marines. And in this case, this game happened almost directly after that previous game. And I was like, I need to get a planet. Contest.
No, I mean, you learned. It's how the game goes.
We learn from our failures. So important. Games are so important.
And you always, the synapse creature of yours, you always retreat him, it's a very good tactic. I mean, he's got 0 damage, but you keep putting it to the planet, getting the Gaunts tokens down, retreating him, putting him back the next time around when you have to commit.
I'm pretty sure he took some damage. He nearly died in this game.
I think so.
Yeah. I think there's the first time I played NIDS, I used a different synapse unit. And I wasn't happy with that one. I don't think it was the play style I was going for. So the Tervagon seems to be something I'm really drawn to, particularly with this NIDS Warlord. I might have to try Old One Eye at some point.
Oh, yeah. That actually looks quite interesting.
And see maybe then
But he's the Warlord.
He's the Warlord, yeah. Old One Eye is then the Warlord, and then I would use maybe a different synapse unit and change the makeup of how I play. So this one is very much geared towards build the swarm.
Yeah. Interesting tactic there, attacking your synapses creatures as opposed to a unit that can actually do damage. I think I was going for the long-term game there.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to do 1 damage to the swarm, another damage to the swarm.
And you shield one so that it doesn't die.
Yeah.
All right, so we reset for another battle here, which we've now learned this is a new battle at the planet.
Yeah.
And now we get to choose to retreat. You have initiative. You don't want to retreat anything. I choose to retreat to the Tervagon.
Yeah, so smart move.
And it retreats exhausted until you reset everything in your HQ at the end of the round or phase, I suppose.
See, I think what I was trying to go for there is if you hadn't retreated, I would have targeted him first, killed it, and then you don't have that synapses creature for the rest of the game.
Correct.
And you can't keep deploying Gaunts down.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But there was no point in leaving him there because he was just essentially going to be killed. Now I had to force you to use your ranged on a little Gant.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear what the outcome would be here. I might do a little bit of damage. I might kill the swarm there, the little stingwing group, but nothing really much else.
Yeah, so do 3 damage. I mean, if you shielded it for 2, it still would have died.
So now that was ranged.
Yes.
I have no ranged. It's still your initiative, so you still get to go. So you can kill another Gant. Gant, Gaunt, Gant.
All of the above.
So now I get to do 1 damage and hopefully kill the stingwing, which I don't because you have another shield.
Yes, and then I just use the suppressive fire ability. Well, not ability, it's just a shield on the card.
And if your opponent wins a battle at an infested planet as a NIDS player, they get to clear the infestation. So now the planet is no longer infested, so I don't get to use the benefit of it being infested.
Exactly.
So your Warlord goes back to your HQ, but those guys stay there and they get to refresh. Or ready, as it were. And the new planet revealed, Atrox Prime.
It's always a good one.
Not as good as Iridial, because that's also there.
This is only the second commitment. So it's a long battle phase that.
I suppose because there's so many units. With the NIDS, there's always going to be, like, Gants. I guess if you're playing this. So again, that's the interesting thing. I didn't commit to the planet that was infested so that I could use that support location card. I probably should have.
Yeah, because what were you committing that previous game?
That's a good point. I can't recall. It happened like just a minute ago.
Round. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Nothing, actually. I didn't actually put any units down. Maybe I was out.
So I'm just trying to think if you had committed the Harpy, because that would have made it too cheaper. Instead of playing it to the HQ, then it would have gone in ready at that planet. And that battle would have been very different.
True that. Gene Stealer comes down. The Imgarl Gene Stealer, really like this one. The unit gets +2 attack while it's at a planet with the Warlord and +2 HP while it's at a planet with a Synapse unit. So here I was just trying to play with you that you don't know which one I'm going to go for.
Exactly. But also it comes in base 4/4.
Yeah.
And then it becomes 6/4 or 4/6 or 6/6. And that's just insane.
I never thought about that.
You could put both at the same time.
Oh, wow. Sure. I should have done, I don't know. What do I do here? I think I have to contest either Planet 1 or Planet 2 or something.
I've played a Void Pirate at the last planet. That's purely just to get some resources and cards.
Yeah. It's a good play. Now, I love deep striking stuff. It is just an exciting thing for me in this game. It probably isn't a good strategy. I do it because I like it, and I like the mystery of it.
I think it's a good strategy because you keep your opponent questioning. It can be anything from a really stupid unit that maybe just explodes, or you sacrifice it, to a really strong one. So I've now played a Pioneer at the 4th planet, which is, again, I'm trying to stack up on resources. So it has an ability that while this unit's at a red planet, I get +2 resources for the command struggle. So really trying to get those resources. And I don't know if you noticed that. I was trying to get the resources because I had expensive units in my hand.
Yeah, in the post, like, sort of talk through of it, I can see, obviously that means he's got his units are too expensive for him to play right now. He needs to build up. But I think during the game, maybe not. I doubt I would have thought of that. Because this is the interesting thing about this game is you're thinking of your own strategy, and what Warren does really well is think also about your opponent's strategy. Okay, so then the Warlord goes with all of his retinue to Planet 3 from the Tyranids. You and the Tau go to Planet 2, and there is a skip there and a jump, and I assume that has something to do with Camera falling asleep and dying.
Yeah. But essentially, I won that first planet uncontested.
Correct. And then I reveal the Deep Strike unit, which is a Victor Line Lurker, which I love, and says, after you Deep Strike this unit, discard 1 card at random from your opponent's hand.
Which I was very annoyed about because you discarded my Recon Drone, which has 2 command icons. It costs 0. It's a limited card, but I get to play it and essentially win a command struggle at a planet. But yeah, you got rid of that.
So then you go ahead and kill it.
Yes.
Quite easily and quite quickly.
Yeah, with my Crisis Battle Guard.
And the battle commences at Planet 2. To note, I think we missed the command struggle, I guess. But note at the last planet there, I stopped the Rogue Trader at least. But you still managed to have a buttload of resources.
So your Lictor went first, and that's how I got damage dealt to the Legionnaire there, the Steel Legion Chimera. Because
that's the thinking I think I was going for, is he's going to negate 1 damage to everything all the time. I better kill him first.
Well, essentially, your Homogons or Timogons, whatever they are, those tokens are useless with him around.
Yeah. So they can only attack him.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice defense, actually, against this Tyranid army. That's me looking at Eloith, I suppose. You're winning the battle. So getting to trigger the battle ability, looking for some cards, returning them.
Yeah, so now we're looking at Planet 3. There's no there is a Warlord, so we have to have a battle.
So I get to remove damage as I win, because there's nothing else to fight against, and I get to clear the Tervagon of its damage.
Yes.
And all those units stay there.
Which is setting up quite nicely for that battle.
Yeah, hoping that when the initiative comes around to me again, I can actually stand a chance.
Exactly.
And I think there's something really interesting that happens in this game later that we reflected on immediately after the game, is me getting confused about which is the last planet, because we had battles that weren't at the first planet, and I think I remember saying, all right, well, you win that planet, that's game. And you were like, no, this isn't Planet 1. And I went, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh no. But there you've got enough resources, so whatever you had expensive in your hand is coming out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and as part of the previous command struggle, I was just accumulating resources. Although you sent your synapse creature to the last planet in that previous command struggle, so you negated my the Void Pirate from actually getting those resources.
Void Pirate or Trader, whatever he was.
Yeah, the one at the top. So I've just now played a Penal Legionnaire, which is really interesting card because it's a 0 cost and it's got 1/1. No command icons. It's essentially just a free unit, like cannon fodder.
It's essentially like a Gant.
Yes.
So imagine having so many of them versus the Termagants. Interesting. Right, so you bring that down. Ned's are thinking.
So you'll see why I put that Penal Legionnaire on the planet 1. The logic will come through later on.
Which is something the Tyranids player forgot about. It's always important to know what your opponent's warlord does.
Yes.
Let it be learned now. Scything Hermagants. Come on out. I think I play more than one of these actually in this game. Their reaction is that after you deploy this unit, infest the planet. So here's me trying to get some infestation again because I've got all these other cards that support and buff and do things with infested planets, and I need more of them.
Yeah. Then I went and played a Fireblade Kajvur. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Fireblade Kajvur.
So it's a decent card. It costs 3, has a base 2/3, but as an interrupt, when I use a Tower Shield card at this planet, it gains +1 shield icon.
So if it was a 1 shield, it'll now be for 2 shields.
Yes.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
And actually comes into play in this game.
So again, whereas your previous round was more about gathering resources, it's quite clear that my goal this round is to infest planets.
And you're doing a good job of it. You still haven't used your support, however.
I know, right? I wonder, I don't think I actually had really strong cards to do that with. And again, that is the downfall, I think, of my deck building and what I've tried to correct since this game.
Oh, there we go. Now I paid 6 resources for a Shrieking Basilisk.
So is that the thing that was sitting in your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
I was hoping we could have triggered that planet's ability where you could put a card down from your hand to your HQ, but that had left the field. But I love this card. It's essentially 3 damage, 5 health. It has ranged.
Before we started recording, I told Warren it's now in like almost all of my armies now. Anyone that can get Imperial Guard, it's going to have one of those.
Yeah.
Super good. And it's wreaked havoc to me consistently.
It also has a very cool reaction. So after this unit damages an enemy unit, you get to exhaust a target support card.
Cool.
It didn't come up in this game, and I've never used that reaction ability on this Basilisk, but it can potentially be very devastating.
I think we've reflected on this before, but for the most part, you and I play this game mostly with each other. And I don't think I've been playing factions or armies that really bring out a lot of supports.
Yes, that's true.
I don't think I've ever actually played as Imperial Guard myself, so maybe that's something to do in the future. I've also never played Chaos, and yeah, that's it.
Well, I haven't played Dark Eldar, so maybe we should do a IG Dark Eldar game.
Let's plan it. It's on the schedule. Look forward to it, folks. That's what we're thinking. We're in the think tank. I believe it is the Tyranids' turn, and they're taking their good time.
So I think this is now the round where you mistake the second planet as planet 1 after the first planet has been moved.
I feel like I'm still quite hopeful at this point. Aha! We used the support. Good job.
Nice.
But for what reason?
So it would have negated 2.
So essentially, I put it down for free.
Yeah.
A Strangler Brood. Each Termagant token you control at this planet gets +1 attack. So now, really good if there are lots of Termagants there. But they are not.
Then I go ahead and play another marker drone, heavy marker drone.
Love the heavy marker drones. So I don't have an attachment to counter it now because the Harpy's still there.
I think we also had a debate around whether I could use the heavy marker drone twice.
Oh, yes.
And we didn't. I mean, there's no limitation to the number of attachments unless they are limited attachments.
Correct.
We want to talk about your card quick.
No, it's just a sentry. It's just a little unit that comes out there, and as soon as a Termagant is destroyed, I can ready this unit. But in terms of attachments?
Yes, so I was going to attach it to the Harpy, I think it is. So could you double damage and negate then your flying further? Well, if the first drone negates the flying and then it does double damage. But because of your other attachment, it limits that damage to 2 anyway.
Yes, I think that's how we resolved it, is what the card does is let no damage more than 2 hit the Harpy. So whatever you did, it would still only be 2.
100%. So that's why I ended up putting it on your Gene Stealers. Now, I've very quickly committed to a planet.
Which is very rare for Warren.
Yeah.
Unless he knows, he's very certain. But I think it's because you had a plan, which is great. And this is the thing I didn't realize.
Yeah. So I'll talk about it now, but I committed to planet 2. And the reason for that is my crisis suits have mobile, so they move from planet 1 to planet 2. And then with the Warlord's ability, I get to move 1 Imperial Guard unit from an adjacent planet to my planet. So I moved then the Steel Legion Chimera.
Okay.
So I just buffed that army on that planet very quickly.
So looking at it now, the crisis suit, looked like it was at planet 2 already.
Yeah.
But now I see you've made it more clear. And now because of the ability and whatever, you're going to move that there. Oh, wait.
First do the command struggle.
Yes. Agreed. I don't know if we did do that.
Or not. No. Okay, so that's where you were arguing
I was asking.
whether he was still on the same planet. Look, whether he was on that planet or not, the mobile rule just got him there anyway.
Exactly. So you would have won the 2 cards at planet 1 because you would have had command icons there before they mobiled. We're just resolving everything else. And this is what you mentioned earlier, is the reason you got the Penal Legionnaire there is so that you can win planet 1. Because if there was no unit from either faction there, or either army, I suppose, the planet gets discarded.
Exactly.
It leaves play. So that was clever. Although you didn't need a blue icon, or did you?
I don't think so. I actually, So I had 1 blue, 2 reds, and 1 green. So by me winning another blue, I had 2 reds, 2 blues.
I see. But essentially, this is my thinking now where it fell down is, because we're having this massive battle at planet 2, I thought that was the winning condition planet, which it is, but it wasn't now.
Yes.
And that's curious. Curious indeed to me. But we'll see what happens, how it plays out. I don't think I've done much editing in terms of cutting action, because it's difficult to keep track of it, especially when you're editing the videos. Like, I'm not sure, sometimes the gestures
mean something. Yeah. So I think I have 1 unit that's not tapped. What's it? Exhausted. Too much magic. And you just have an entire field full of units. However, I do have initiative and I have a ranged character.
Yes. So essentially that's what you're saying. You have 2 ranged, but one of them is exhausted. So you've just got the Basilisk ready to go. And it does how much damage?
3.
3 range damage. Really nice. So I think this is you deciding, I suppose.
Yes.
Many options.
Well, what I was thinking is going off the Gene Stealers, because I could do double damage there. Because that's 6 damage and he only has 4 health. Although he's probably got 6 health now because of your Synapse creature.
Correct. But that would still kill him.
Well, I didn't know whether you had a shield or not. Every single attack I thought, it's like, oh, he's going to shield this. But after the game, you mentioned you don't have any shield cards.
But see, Warren was thinking the correct way. Your opponent should be prepared enough and be able to defend in that way. But no, I was definitely poorer on that front. Alas. But we spoke about this, rebuilding the deck so that instead of having too many low-cost cards with command icons, which is usually what I lean towards, instead balancing that out with more shield cards.
Yes.
Which are generally higher cost or something like that.
So then we're debating whether I should be using my Basilisk on the Harpy and then saying, okay, flying reduces it, the Marker Drone doubles it, and then it's limited to 2. So I ended up going after that guy.
It makes sense. It makes the most sense.
And no shield. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
I do try as much as possible because I think my brain sometimes forgets things. This is I check every time you attack, or most often. But I do know that there are no shields there. Maybe it's just a cursory like, hey, okay, I must just check. So the Harpy attacks.
Yes. No, I think you use your combat ability there. You exhaust the Harpy and you get to exhaust every non-elite unit. However, there's a lot of elite units at the planet.
I think that was what I recognized. And I was like, wow, he did really well.
Yeah.
Then you shielded for something.
Yes. Yeah, and then now we're reading the Fireblade's ability.
And that's why, okay, there we go. You bring it back. It has to be a Tau attachment.
So I ended up sacrificing the Iron Rifle, which was plus 3 damage, but it's got 1 shield. Now it doubles up to 2.
Exactly, which protects someone.
I would assume you were going after the Chimera because
otherwise it would be a much lower attack. But how did that happen? Because you exhaust for the ability. Like, what were you shielding?
Oh, then we went back. You can see I've now sacrificed No Mercy because his ability allows damage that's dealt to be negated by 1. I don't know who you were attacking. Obviously not him, because his ability then reduces by 1, and then the shield prevented the 1.
Then you use your massive attack from the crisis suit just to a little sentry, but that's so that it doesn't have to ready every time you kill something else.
Exactly. So
now you can see that the Gants can't do anything unless they attack the tank.
Yes.
So they're just going to keep making an attempt at the tank.
And now I think I just start using shields.
Yeah. You had 2 copies of that card.
Yeah. I make sure I keep 2 of every neutral card.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We spoke about this when we build decks. I usually just put 1 neutral of everything. Luckily, I still get a mine.
Yeah. So now everyone resets.
And I will probably do the thing of retreating, the Turvagon, because otherwise it does nothing. There's no reason for it to be there. It might as well.
Sure. The 1 gaunt's not readied. There we go.
Excuse me, good sir.
There we go. So
I think I was wanting to call the game there. I was like, well, it's obvious you're going to win this. And you were like, wait, it's not. I'm not going to win this planet.
Yeah. So that was the mistake. You were then didn't put enough units at that planet.
Okay, so then it's limited to 2 damage. And you do it again, it's limited to 2 damage.
Yeah. I kept thinking, he's going to shield, he's going to shield.
Not a thing.
Looking at my hand, maybe I have something to increase the damage. Couldn't.
So now, interesting thing, I can't remember what we do or what I do. Do I attack with the Shrieking Harpy or do I use his ability again? We're just discussing the fact that you range attack first and then you are the first to attack.
Yes.
And no shields from the Tyranids, and the thing dies. Oh yes, take back your card. And then we've got 3 little Gants on the battlefield.
Yep. Now you attack. And I don't know if I shield again. I must do. I think I'm weighing up who you're going to kill. Because if I didn't shield this, you would probably go for the swarm.
Correct.
So then I didn't want to lose 2 units. So there I shielded it. Attack back. 1 dies. Now you're going to attack the Chimera and he will die. So that was fine. But now at least I keep my ranged.
Correct.
Alternatively, if I hadn't shielded, you would have just killed both.
Well, wouldn't you have prevented damage because of the tank?
No, well, you would have killed the tank first and then still had another Gorn to attack.
Got you. That was the hope and pray.
Yes, yeah, that's how it would have worked. Exactly.
Now, because you won the planet at the radial, you get to clear the damage on your ranged unit, which just makes me sad.
Yeah.
And you clear the infestation. Now it becomes planet 1 and the winning condition planet. So, again, much like our previous episode, I think, poor play from the Tyranids here. Any more experienced player might have gone, I can see that there's no way to win this right now. But I think we live in hope and we enjoy the game, so we play on. And maybe we draw something interesting. If there was a way to possibly move, I don't know why I put all those units on that current second planet, but if there was any way to move them closer, it's probably something that should have happened.
Well, I think your logic was none of us could win until that planet. So you were trying to build up the army by that stage. Maybe it wasn't clear the planets I had won, the combination of red, blue, green.
We keep them pretty clear, I think. We stick them under the mat there and you can see the icons pretty clearly. But I have thought about this the other day when I can't remember who I was showing the video or just sort of reflecting on the game. It's a complicated looking game. There's a lot of cards on this table. One new one is the Ripper Swarm. It costs 0. It's a limited card, so you can't have more than 1 on the field. But essentially they cost nothing for a 1 command icon and they attack for 1 and have 1 health.
No special ability?
No, that's it. So they're just useful to contest, I suppose, and to give something else to attack. And now you can tell I've got 2 cards in my hand, a lot of resources, but not playing anything. So I don't think I have anything to counter.
Yeah. I just played a carnivore pack, not a carnivorous pack. And it costs 3, it has 3/3, and then it's got an interesting battle ability, interrupt ability. It's when it dies, you get 3 resources back.
Nice. Infesting the planet from the Tyranids again with the Scything Hormigons so that I can hopefully use this location support, but that's if we have it. It also would affect the Turvagon.
Well, that's exactly what my thought process was. You had your last card in your hand, you were going to play that by exhausting your support, and then it didn't happen.
I don't even know what that last card was. We're like, listen, this is the last round, we might as well just make it happen.
The Penal Legionnaire just coming in the bottom there.
Hey guys, I heard there was a fight going on here. Yeah, there's, I think, me reflecting on the fact that I thought that was the last planet and it wasn't. Old Confusion.
No.
I don't know what the hell that one sneaky card is for the Nids. Useless.
Yeah. So now we were just doing the command struggle, and we started summing up all the command icons. We're like, oh, but the crisis suit there already has enough.
Yeah.
And the basilisk. But you put both your HQ and your synapses creatures on the same planet.
Which, as we reflected earlier, should have probably happened differently. It should have happened at this planet, I think, earlier.
Yes, with when the Gene Stealers were there.
Correct.
Because they would have upped it to 6/6, and then he wouldn't have died with the basilisk.
Correct. Well, we learned things. Right, what's going on there?
Oh, no, he still would have died because you had your the synapses creature there. So he had 6 health anyway. It may have been different.
Yeah, you may have attacked the Turvagon. So things work out differently. Have we commenced this battle?
I think so, because Penal Legionnaires just died now.
But by whom and by what and how? That's what I want to know, because you should have arranged.
We might have... Oh, you didn't trigger the battle ability at one of the planets. That was it. So you were going to do damage to everyone in the HQ, so I've put a damage token onto my HQ unit, Starblaze, and then killed the Penal Legionnaire.
Check.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because it's a friendly game, we can do that.
Yeah. And we do it quite often, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I think, because when we get worked up about things,
yes.
we miss things, and it's nice to just go, oh yeah, we meant to do this.
Exactly. And we play it out. So, okay, so there we go. Start attacking.
Pretty
ranged.
clear. The range is going to do some damage to things. It's just about seeing in what order. I imagine you'd either go for the Swarmlord or the Turvagon with your Basilisk.
Probably go for the Swarmlord because your Turvagon is 0 damage.
And it would be like a double blow, like emotionally, to bloody the Warlord as well
and
as
win the planet. Yeah. So now as an action, you could retreat, but...
I mean, there's no point, really.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, we could. Essentially, the game should have been called now. But we're seeing the order of events.
There you go. I just got to use a shield.
Of course you do. Promotion.
So I actually had that promotion card in my hand for a while, and I wanted to use it earlier to win the command struggle. But then I decided... Oh, there we go. Okay, so we called the game. I decided to hang on to that promotion card to use as a shield, which...
Came in handy later.
Yeah.
So a very good game by the Tau, very well played, and not so many good moves from the Tyranids. But we learnt a lot from this one.
Agreed. I think it would have gone very differently if you hadn't committed too many guys to that second planet now.
We'll see. We'll see. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and hopefully there'll be more of these in future. Let us know what you want us to play. We've got some ideas for campaign-inspired things, and maybe we'll have that Dark Elder game.
Definitely.
Okay, bye.
Cool. Cheers.